Did you know there's an internet for monkeys? All right, so today we are on live. Welcome, everybody, as we come in. I'm just going to bring some video up here and take that off. Awesome. All right, welcome, everybody, to the stream today. Thanks for joining us. Stick around and find out what is the essential building block of all reality in the infinity matrix. But more than that, it's actually the determining factor for the depth of what you experience throughout your entire lifetime. And you'll want to stick around for the micro hack today, because with the world being on lockdown and quarantine for as long as it's been, this hack today will be one that keeps you sane and also nourishes your soul at so many levels at the same time. It's 4 simple steps that you can implement as early as today. Welcome to episode 25 of Hacking the Infinity Matrix. In the Infinity Matrix, there is no one-person island. Let me bring Ross in and take that off, and where's Ross? There he is. Bringing Ross in. All right, so while all this stuff starts to roll out, there's Ross. There he is. Okay.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us.
I want you to go ahead and comment in the notes there. Let us know where you're chiming in from. And again, remember, today we're going to cover a really great topic that we believe is not talked about enough out there, I think, but really such a key component to how we experience reality. So, hey, Demetrius, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, Mary from Austria. Where else you guys coming and chiming in from? Let us know. We like to know all the different places everybody's chiming in from. Okay, and there we go. They're coming in now. It's just
there we go.
All right, and so if you're here for the first time, also please let us know. Just hashtag first time, so we you can properly be greeted by Ross and I and the rest of the community. If you're one of our regulars, you know what to do. Type hashtag hooked on hacking, and if you're catching this on the replay, just enter hashtag replay. And yes, we do have replays, but they're done in the Facebook group. So let me talk about a couple quick logistics and get them out of the way, and we can jump right into the topic today. All right. So first of all, we strongly suggest joining the Facebook group if you haven't already done so. The link is running along the bottom here. And so when you get there, when you go to that link, and we'll add it into the comments as well. When you get to the link, there's 3 simple questions that you need to do when you get there, so the system can automatically accept you into the membership. Otherwise, it will boot you, and then you won't be automatically accepted in. The 3rd question does give you the opportunity to join our VIP list. And this is if you want to get extra content, giveaways, gifts, early notifications of things. It's not mandatory, but highly suggested if you're serious about hacking the Infinity Matrix and becoming unstoppable.
Absolutely.
All right. Finally, if you want to catch this and any other streams that we on replay, we've got them all lined up for you in the group under the guides tab, and they're all there from episode 1 right through until today's episode, which obviously show up later. All right. Now, on to today's rabbit hole segment. And just a reminder that we start the broadcast with a short topic, idea, or question, or even some other bit of information that's designed to really get your mind thinking, and perhaps in ways you haven't done before. So, Ross, what's in the rabbit hole today?
It's the monkey internet. Here we thought we were all these brilliant people creating Google and all that kind of stuff, and here we found out that they've already figured it all out. So that's crazy, because in 1952 on Koshima Island in Japan, scientists started to study on macaque monkeys. And so what they were doing is they were providing food in open places, and the monkeys began to develop new behaviors in response. And during that year, the primatologist began provisioning the monkeys. In other words, providing them with food, and they provided them with such foods as sweet potatoes and wheat. And the food was left open, like sitting on the beaches. So it's kind of open area. They weren't leery of it, anything like that. So as a result of this, it was like kind of like a new economy for monkeys, because they're like, well, this is great. I don't have to forage for food because it's right there, which was great for them. So as a result, the monkeys developed some very interesting, innovative forms of behavior. So that was kind of fun. So one of these was invented by an 18-month-old female monkey named Emo. And Emo was ahead of her time. And she was a member of the troop on Kushima Island. And she discovered that sand and grit could be removed from the sweet potatoes by washing them in a stream or in the ocean. And so Emo's playmates and her mother learned this trick from Emo. And it soon spread to all the members of the troop. And unlike most food customs, this innovation was learned by the older monkeys from the younger monkeys. And in, I don't know, so kind of in most other matters, the children learn from their parents. So this potato washing habit spread gradually. And up until about 1958 or so, so that's what, 6 years. So in the fall of 1958, a remarkable event occurred on Kushima. According to the documentation, once a critical mass of monkeys, an average of about 100, learned this behavior, and not before this critical mass, all the monkeys copied the same behavior. So it hit critical mass and then just went kaboom, spread out. And suddenly, as if by magic, the monkeys on other islands started washing their sweet potatoes too. It's as if they had their own internet. Google for monkeys. Well, it's probably Yahoo back then. One of those. So alas, this is called the 100th monkey effect. And as an added bonus, many of you should be familiar with Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. He talks about this example that rats did the same thing. Rats that learned a new trick in one laboratory, like say like Harvard, later groups of rats in other laboratories, like in Scotland and Australia, learned the same new trick, but quicker. Now that's the rabbit hole. So, speaking of islands, are we actually an island unto ourselves? That's the whole topic of today's show. Although technology can bring people together, does it really? Don't we seem further apart today than we were, say, 5 years ago? In 1924, John Donne wrote, "No man is an island unto itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. As well if promontory were, as well as any manner of thy friends or of thine own were, any man's death diminishes me, because I'm involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." So, what was his meaning? That we are all part of a whole. It stands as true today as it did almost 400 years ago, expressing the idea that human beings do badly when isolated from others, and need to be part of a community in order to thrive. We are not an island, or are we? Can we exist as an isolated individual? Currently, there's a reported behavior that is slowly creeping into the attributes of modern society, and it's called cocooning. Cocooning is when, and we've all experienced this, when your neighbor gets home from work, opens the garage door, drives in, and you don't see nor hear from him or her until they open the garage door in the morning to go to work. They cocoon themselves into their home. And yes, this describes some introverted people, but as of late, it has become less rare. No one person is self-sufficient. Everyone relies on others somehow. A person needs the support of others and society all together to survive. Sure, there's those who exist that, they exist in the wild, but in actuality, they are not really existing without some form of help. Supplies, materials, clothing, etc. So the point of this live stream today is to remind you of the abundance of help and friendship you have around you. And no, you can't do everything by yourself. From the beginning of time, humans lived in some variation of a tribe, some social environment. Typically, the tribe will share the same values of discipline and obedience, and to the as a response to the traditions from their ancestors. Respect for self, elders, and others in the tribe. Respect for nature and property, patience, pride in family, clan, pride in your family, your clan, your traditions. They're all found in love, loyalty, and generosity. Each member had a responsibility to perform a service for the tribe or the team. And we still do this today. So let's do your comparisons. So you have your tribal leadership. That would be today's CEO. You have your tribal protection. That would be security, police force, whatever the case. You have your food gatherers. That's kind of retail stores now. You have your tribal hunting, and that could be retail as well. In some cases, if you're a business owner, that's your marketing staff. They're your hunters. They're looking for new prey. So then you have your tribal builders, and that's kind of your maintenance team for a particular business. And then you have your healers. That's our emergency rooms, infirmaries, hospitals. And then you have your tribal spirituality. And so obviously that's going to be your chaplain, your churches, or some spiritual group that you may be part of. So within the confines of their roles and duties, they work within guidelines of shared cultural aspects, of which or can be very different from other communities. Their beliefs, we've talked about that, their customs, values, and traditions, these are just everything, these are what they live by. The golden rules, or in modern day, perhaps a corporate mission statement. Because your family, you have golden rules for your family. This is what my children, and anybody within my house can live by. Okay, but in business, you have those type of rules as well. Okay, so punishment for disobeying the tribe's laws and values generally resulted in banishment from the tribe, cast out, or fired to fend for themselves. And back then, this usually resulted in death, either from starvation or from predators, because you lost all of your support team. If you weren't a hunter, or you weren't a food gatherer, then you were going, no, I build stuff. I don't know how to do that because they always did it for me. So you could possibly starve, or you don't have somebody to protect you at night while you're sleeping. So then the predators are coming. So you understand that a person being cast out, they became the island with no support, no protection, possibly no shelter, maybe no food. And in modern day, this could be compared to being unable to find employment, unable to ask friends or family for help, no medical insurance, no social security systems in place, etc., things like that. So each individual has their own form of a social circle. And as you can see in the diagram, this, you're in the center, you're the self, and then it expands out. I'm going to say 95% of us have this type of structure in our life. I selected this particular one because I like it where it kind of accentuates and it kind of the idea of an imbalance as well, because we don't want you to be dead center in the middle. So the captions are relatively common, and you can definitely move them around depending on your specific circumstances. But overall, as I said, this covers about 95% of the people in society. So each layer represents a support factor within your life. It also supports John Donne's poem that we are all a part of mankind, humanity, and society as a whole. If we take a deep dive into how much we rely on more than just the first couple of circles, you kind of might be a little bit surprised. So let's do that, shall we? Okay, so let's take this live stream as an example. And so starting with the outermost ring, okay, you are where you are. Maybe England, Malaysia, Germany, Italy, Canada, Spain, etc. Okay? I'm in Seattle. Gary's in Canada. So now we are all part of that outer ring. Now the service we're using is multifold. So Facebook is in California, and they have their satellite units, their server systems across the globe. The internet provider I use is here in Seattle. The providers you use are in various cities in your area. Okay, now we're coming down a little bit more. Okay, where was your computer or your phone manufactured when you purchased? Where is your phone service based out of? We're coming closer to you. We're starting to kind of squeeze into that center point. Now we're probably teetering on the second circle. So your computers were delivered to your area by fellow citizens on roads funded and built by fellow countrymen and women. Your providers are staffed and maintained by your fellow citizens. And while you're on this live stream, possibly your family may be preparing meals, watching the children, or simply supporting your endeavors to grow and evolve. So finally, there's you, the master of your reality. You chose to be here. You chose to step up and make a difference in your own life. And in doing so, you will make a difference in every single one of the other circles. That's you, the most important circle, but not a circle unto itself. But if we take away your support team, then that's all you've got. Now what do we do? All right. So there's just you. And do you think that you can survive this type of scenario for an extended period of time? But when you follow what Gary's about to show you, you get this. You radiate in all directions. You are the center. And from there, you radiate out to your family and out to your community and out to possibly your country and even more out to the world. You have a whole world of help at your fingertips. And that's the biggest one. You have all of this.
Yeah, you got it right, Ross. Ultimately, it's about the relationships we establish on this planet in this infinity matrix that we experience.
Correct. Absolutely. Right?
But before I dive too deeply into the nature of everyone's existence, kidding, not kidding, let's start by saying that we do have an announcement for everyone that we want to kind of share here. But before over the last few months, maybe since the beginning of the year, we've been talking about and revealing that we were going to put on a program called Success Hacks, a 7-day quest to hack reality and level up your life. Now, then a couple of weeks back, we actually did the 7-day program, and the feedback we're getting from participants is off the charts awesome. Okay. So, well, we are at it again. We have set a couple new dates for when we're going to do the 7-day program again. We've got a date for May and we got a date for September. So for those of you who missed the Zoom info calls the first time around, we're going to be starting up a new sequence of Zoom info calls for you to jump on that and check it out and to kind of get a sampling of it. The Zoom call, it's a free Zoom call. It's about an hour and it's jam-packed with 3 powerful success hacks that we only teach on those Zoom calls, right? So we don't teach them anywhere else, but they're very powerful and can have a direct impact on the success that you have in your life, in any area of your life you want to focus on. During the call, on top of those success hacks, you'll also get, so it'll be kind of like a mini sampler of what you'll get if you join us on the Success Hacks program. Then we'll tell you during the Zoom, then we'll also tell you about what each day of the event consists of, and then we'll also let you know what you can do and where you can go to register for that. Our next Zoom call will be right after our live stream next Thursday. So if you want to get the Zoom link for that, go ahead and type hashtag success hacks and we'll get that link directly to you. We'll send it to you. Let me just put that in here. There we go. Hashtag success hacks. And then we'll get the Zoom link out to you so you can register for that Zoom link, which is again next Thursday right after our live stream. We'll be doing that Zoom. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Gary, let's also make sure. So just so you guys understand, when you put in hashtag success hacks, the system is designed to tell us that you have put in that specific word so that we can answer to you.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important. We have thousands of people that are making comments and such, and we try to get to all of them, but that will send us a direct message. So I just want to clarify that so that you understand that it's really, really important.
There's from Joanne there. Great. Thanks, Joanne.
Hey, Joanne.
Yeah, and some of you are on here already. But so the Success Hacks program, the live streams will be next Thursday right after the stream. And you can jump on that. So in relationship to today's stream, even the 7-day Success Hacks, one of the things that we found during the last 7-day Success Hacks program was that there was a great sense of community that started up as a result, right? So really cool. I want to take a little more time to I want to talk a little bit more about the variable of relationships in the infinity matrix. Okay? When you think about it, relationships are at the very initial stages of existence. Because if there was no relationship with anything at all, how would you know what to experience? You think about it, right? It's really the basis of consciousness, right? And there's lots of theories going on around consciousness and has been for eons. But if consciousness, in its simplest definition, is sentience or awareness of internal or external existence, then to have consciousness, there has to be something in the internal matrix and the external matrix that we have create some sort of relationship with to have experience of existence. Okay. You probably thought we were only going to talk about people-to-people relationships, okay, when we started this, or even maybe when you read the title of the stream. And ultimately, yes, we are. But as you know, we like to provoke infinity thinking here, all right? Because if you can start to understand or even explore the reality-altering capability of relationships, then hopefully you'll start to nurture the relationships, the ones that you experience more consciously and with consistent intent. So let's chat a little bit about this thing we call reality. There must have been a time and a space where there was no time and space, right? I mean, there had to be a before this, right? If you think about it, before any one of us could have had any experience of time, space, matter, and energy, there had to be a birth into this form of reality. And at that exact moment, and again, it's the chicken and the egg scenario, right? At that exact moment, our spiritually evolving life force, right, which is SELF, our self instantly began to form a relationship with everything it experienced as self and not self. Okay? When you think about it, that would be the most essential and important operating system that we would need in order to know that we exist. And you couldn't shut it off, because without it, you couldn't have an experience of existing. So if you get the gravity of how that program, that primary code, permeates through everything, all the time, in every direction, then you can start to unlock all the secrets within the infinity matrix to experience the reality you desire. Okay? And one of the infinite ways of getting there is to work on the levels of relationships that you are consciously aware of and feel you have some levels of control over. So this is where we play on the surface of reality, to allow your emotions to drizzle down to the core and notice what sprouts forth as your reality for you. So when we say there is no one person island, we mean that from a level of existence, and we also mean from a level of experience. the more meaningful and soul nourishing relationships you develop on this, what I call the reality ride, the more enjoyable it is. Right? The easier it is for you to make things happen in your life. Right? You'll just find things are easily coming to you and flowing more naturally. The more purposeful you'll feel your life has become when you nurture those relationships on all levels. Now, there definitely is value in cultivating relationship with yourself, which is just as important. And in other streams, we touch on that in many ways, on many levels. So think about, for today, we want you to think about the people you have, people, animals, pets, I mean, the entities, let's call it that, the entities that you have in your life right now. And realize that these people / entities you chose at some level of existence to be in relationship with. And you did so for some specific reason, whether you like it or not, consciously. But at some level, that relationship was established. And it's serving you in some way just as it's serving them. So it's not a one-way street, right? So the thing to do is to appreciate them, appreciate those relationships, thank them for being in your life. Thank them for serving you the way that you are being served. And realize that you and the way you exist is serving them as well. And continue to contemplate what they are reflecting back to you as they play out their role in the infinity matrix. So remember when I said how it's your relationship that starts everything off? It's also your relationship that will be the transition factor at the end. I mean, when it's time to leave this temporary role as a human, it's very common for people on their deathbed to find themselves evaluating the quality of the relationships they establish in the time that they had on the planet. They're not talking or thinking about or even worried to a large degree about the money they acquired, the things they purchased, and not even the places that they went. It's the relationships they established in that time, right? So when it's time to check out, right, the primary code raises its head to remind you once again what's truly important. And so the thing we want to encourage is to work on your relationships while you can and when it counts. So that's where today's micro hack comes into play. All right. So what we want to do, let me get rid of that there. Awesome. So what we want to do is we want to, the hack today is about how to start your own personal conscious community. The conscious community is really a group of people that have a similar mindset, thought process, or purpose, right? So you all come together for a specific reason or intent. All right. So 4 simple steps. Step number 1, pick a day of the week that you will dedicate to nurturing yourself, your spiritually evolving life force, not everybody else. You're doing it first and foremost for you at the base, right? And for a conscious community. But you pick a day that works for you, right? Set a day and time. So example, Thursday nights, 9 to 11 p.m. after kids go to bed. That's my time. I'm going to focus on nurturing myself. Okay. Step number 2, decide on a personal growth, spiritual growth, or just thought-provoking content that you're going to watch, read, listen to, whether someone is there, shows up or not. And this can be online or in-house. So it can be online where you get together with the Zoom and you're all kind of doing a watch party-ish type thing. Or it's, depending on where you are in the world and when you end up watching this, if you're doing it on the replay, if the world's open up and you can actually have gatherings, then you want to set a time and a place where you can get together, and there's a common theme that you're going to explore, right? So for example, you could do replays of one of our live streams that you want to review for yourself or that you haven't watched yet. Right? And then you get, hey, 10 of your friends, family, colleagues, whatever that you think that you'd like to be more in relationship with and to grow with and have them along with you on this reality ride, and you invite them. And when they show up or not, you do your thing. You do your 9 to 11 to take care of self. Because as you build that center, as you build that vibration, you're going to start to attract people to you, right? So maybe the people you initially started to invite were not the right people, and that's why they didn't show up, right? So so you keep putting it out there, you keep doing it. It could even be that you create a YouTube playlist that you're going to work your way through every week, and you just pick one and do it. So short, long, and have a variety of different topics. All right, so that's step 2. Decide on a personal growth, spiritual growth, or thought-provoking content that you're going to watch for that time frame. Step number 3, invite close friends, family, colleagues, community members. If you're out and about and you strike up great conversation with someone that you think would resonate with that, invite them, to join in and watch, read, listen, and engage in open conversation about the content covered. Right? So you watch it and then you have conversations around it. Dig into it, question it, explore the different levels of information. Right? And then step 4, repeat the first 3 steps every week. That's it. Plan your weekly content 1 month at a time and stick to your set day and time. And you start to build and build and build. And the longer you do that, the bigger the community. Some are going to come in for a while. They'll leave. They'll come in. They'll leave. The constant's going to be you and the day and the time. Okay? And that's how you build a conscious community, so that you can feel that you're because here's the reality, like the probability is, if you're on this stream, if you're on our in our group, or even on our Facebook pages, and quite possibly even in our friends list, right? The probability is you don't fit with the norm of society. High probability. Okay.
Really high.
And so sometimes in the exploration of consciousness, it can seem lonely because it's not something, like we talked earlier, it's not something that's openly spoken about, right? It's almost like it's this hidden underground thing, and it doesn't have to be. It's definitely emerged more over the years, but I can tell you, I've been doing personal growth for 30 odd years. And when I first started doing personal growth stuff, I was definitely felt like I was on my own island, right? For a long time. So, but I stayed consistent. I started to build group around me. Now look at me. We got thousands of people on in our pages and on our streams and watching us all over. And it's a process of being consistent and congruent with the truth of who you are and not letting go of that. Right? Because that relationship had to be established for me first and became very solid. And as that happened, then I was able to go out and build other relationships with like-minded, like energy people. Right, and to be able to explore these things with you guys on a weekly basis is absolutely phenomenal. It's like We say it all the time. It's our passion and our pleasure. All right. So that's our hack for today. Step number 1, pick a day of the week to nurture yourself. Step number 2, decide on a topic. Step number 3, invite close friends and family, and to watch, read, listen, engage in open conversation. And then step number 4, repeat the first 3. Just do that on a monthly basis, right? And you just plan out your weekly content 1 month at a time, so people can expect and kind of anticipate what's coming next. Kind of, is that what we've done with our group, Ross?
Mm-hmm. Well,
what do
we
you think
started
about
that way.
Huh.
Look at that. And I'll tell you, I mean, this is, Gary's spot on. These are habits that we've used for years. And when you really know that it's making a difference is when you're at the grocery store, you're just out in public, and all of a sudden someone just starts talking to you about this. And you're just like, okay, well, this is interesting. This is very synchronistic. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah. And you just have a conversation with them. And like, hey, do you want to get together for coffee sometime? Like, yeah, that would be really, really cool. Because the idea here is, as Gary said, you want to find like-minded people, but you also want to have people here. Let me put it to you this way. My philosophy has always been, when I'm creating a team, the strength in the team is based on their differences. So you want people that have a somewhat slightly, different opinion of you, because you want to have a conversation. I don't like to be around yes people. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like, no, challenge my thought, or tell me your experiences, and I'll put them together with my experiences, and we'll just like, wow, this is really cool. When Gary and I first met, it was like I was approaching this up from one direction, he was approaching it from another direction, and the story of us meeting is crazy, just crazy. And this is like, well, I was kind of doing that too. He's like, well, I'm doing that too. And I'm just like, I like your idea. We take yours and put it with mine, and okay, this is just, it was amazing. And then we found out that our wives already knew each other, and we're like, what? So this stuff happens. It happens all the time.
And synchronicities are, they're remarkable when you start.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We don't use the word coincidence anymore. And that's how everybody shrugs things off. It's like, no, this is far beyond a coincidence. But when you are immersed in this type of information, okay, this type of community, you begin to radiate, and you become the magnet of just people. Just all of a sudden, like, you find like-minded people at the grocery store, out in the open, on Facebook. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't know this person felt this way. Hey, let's, have you seen this? Oh yeah, I've seen this. Oh, well, that's really interesting. That's how it works. That's how it works. And then you feed each other. You feed each other energy.
Yeah, and that's the hack for today. So we'll post a graphic with the steps later today. And if you want to catch a replay, again, you'll be able to find this and all of the streams in the group under the guides tab. Remember, if you're going to go there and join for the first time, you need to answer all those 3 questions. It'll be automatically accept you in, and then you can start to see content and participate. We've got an awesome, growing, phenomenal, active group, so join if you haven't. Before we sign off, we should let you know that tomorrow will be our last watch party in the group, because Facebook is actually removing the option of watch parties for everyone next month. So tomorrow will be the last watch party at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also remember that if you're interested in finding out about the Success Hacks program, I just want to pop this up here. Give me a second here. Where was it? Yeah, Renata made a nice comment. So Renata is one of the participants. A 7-day hack, 7-day quest for hacking the infinite matrix and level up your reality, change the quality of my life within a week. It's really a powerful, powerful process. So if you want to jump on that that Zoom call to get information about it, just go ahead and type hashtag success hacks, or you can go right away and register here. I mean, we will post the link so you can actually click and go, but just hackingtheinfinitematrix.com/May 2021, and you can register for the Zoom there. All right. And until next Thursday, we will see you all. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Take
Bye-bye.
care of your relationships out there.